India is perhaps one of the very few nations that took a very nuanced stand. Everybody either jumped on the US bandwagon in the light of the war, or jumped on the Chinese bandwagon. This was an opportunity for India to stand up and tell the world that this is the decisions that India has taken is driven by its own interests, its interests of its people and its economic interests, which India has done very categorically. The foreign minister has been very categorical in telling the world what is how India, why India has taken the decisions it has. I just wanted to show you. I don't know you can see it. This is the newspaper today, and it says, I'll just read it out to you. You can read it in Times today. US imported more fuel from Russia than India. This is after the war started. And the next line says the European Union order surged since Moscow-Ukraine war. So, this headline sums it up. The foreign minister said India's imports of oil from Russia equal one afternoon of oil requirements in Europe. So when other powers try to tell India what to do, I think India has stood up for itself and outlined its needs more categorically than ever. Now, but we have to also deal with the rest of the world. We have to also understand how India can economically function and can have its trade ties, can also have its strategic ties with the US. Now, and one of the aspects that has been spoken about is that India's dependence on Russia has been historical. India has been in this region where it's surrounded by more enemies than allies, and Russia has been one of the consistent allies over history. That is one part. Now, if we set that aside and look at trade and economics alone, so over a period of time, and Russian weapons, Russian armaments have have formed the bedrock of India's military growth over the years. However, according to SIPRI is a Stockholm-based international peace institute, which assesses the weapon supply, etc., and amongst other things. So they assess that Russia was the largest supplier of weapons to India over a period of time. The US emerged as the second largest supplier of weapons between 2010 and 2014. But in the last 6 years, India's arms imports have diversified rapidly. And that's what I'm coming to. The US now, after the diversification, the US, the American imports have been 51% lower, have been halved from the time they were earlier. So what does that indicate? Reduction of American arms imports have meant that there has been hectic lobbying by companies to increase their market share here in India. The war gives them the opportunity to push for these supplies. It is here that India's diversification over a period of time will be helpful, will be useful for India. It is here that India's stress on Atmanirbharta is going to be the core of how India has a voice that is independent in future, in case certain other such dynamics were to take place which disturb the world order. It is here that better technology transfers and agreements with other European nations, such as what has happened with Russia in the past, can be explored where there are more choices available. India has already, as we speak, over the last year, 2 years, has signed up military acquisitions from other countries. They've got Scantar, 6,000 radars from Denmark, the sonar systems from Germany, naval guns from Italy, and other weapons from South Korea. So despite all this, India still imports 50% of military requirements from Russia, over 90% of the main battle tanks, T-72s and T-90s, and the aircraft carriers, the submarines, they're all Russians. But Indians' defense imports can face implications because of the impending American sanctions. There you have India's plans of inducting the Russian S-400 missile systems, which is critical to countering Chinese threats. It's a conundrum that the US will face. And if you read the American statements, in recent times, uh, the Americans do understand, though they take a dim view of India's stand during the Ukraine war, which is fine by themselves. But in a world where countries take decisions based on the principle of self-preservation, America will know best why it supported Pakistan all these years, despite the fact that Pakistan was a supporter and hotbed of terrorism. And you know, so therefore, strategic security imperatives will always be paramount in the decisions that a nation takes. And in this case, China, being the common adversary, it is well understood by the West, and it will be in their in their interests, in their larger interests, that India remains a critical ally. And for India to remain a critical ally and a strong weapons market, and a growing market, otherwise it knows that India, as a democracy and as a strong regional power, balances China very well. And in this context, in the Indo-Pacific, the US needs a strong and decisive partnership in Asia that can confront China. I believe India provides that. India is the bulwark, is the strong bulwark that provides US with that kind of an opportunity to, and also the fact that India has a good relationship with Russia also enables enables Russia to be kept at bay, or not interfere in Indo-Pacific. In India, as India grows, as India steps up to a new role, this is something that one would expect India to do in the future. And given the fact that India has taken its decisions in a very nuanced manner in the last 2-3 months, uh, time will tell, and time is already beginning to tell, that India's decisions have been are going to be seen in the right light.